Hey gang, welcome to episode 8 of Fantasy Sports Alliance's Periscope broadcast. This week we are going to be bringing you updates from Week 16 around the NFL and this week's Fanatically Real Bowl information about the finals that we just had. We're going to get right into it this week. So big news out of the NFL. If you weren't following already, Chip Kelly was fired by Philadelphia Eagles. Funny story behind that is I happened to be at the office the other day and we were watching ESPN and they were talking about what the future holds for the Eagles, and they weren't really mentioning Chip Kelly. They were more talking about what do we do with the team to help them make them better. And me and a couple of the guys were talking about bringing in a quarterback that worked better in their system, like an RG3 or Kaepernick or something like that. And then just hours later, we hear that Chip Kelly's been fired. So there's a rumor spreading around now that Chip might get reunited with his old quarterback from Oregon, and him and Marcus Mariota might get back together in Tennessee. So Kelly gets the quarterback back that he's been wanting for a while, but I still don't think Kelly's the right fit in the NFL. I still think he was a better college coach than he is a professional coach. So move on to some more NFL news. Carolina Panthers, if you haven't heard, also got their first loss of the season. They shut out Atlanta 2 weeks ago. I think the final score was 38-0. This week they lose to them 13-20. I think some of that had to do with Ted Ginn Jr. going down injured earlier. It was their deep threat ball guy. When you take that away, all you got left is Greg Olsen, and then everybody's doubling Greg Olsen now, so you've kind of lost your go-to receiver at that point. But it's good. They got the first loss out of the way. Now they don't have to worry about that perfect season. They can concentrate on the playoffs now. So speaking of the playoffs, we're going to talk about the AFC for a little bit. So last week we mentioned that there was a big tie between Kansas City, the Jets, and the Steelers. Kansas City wins this weekend. They beat the Browns 17-13, and they clinched their playoff spot. The Jets beat the Patriots in the overtime on a controversial coin flip at overtime, 26-20, and they now sit in the wild card spot for the AFC. Steelers lose to the Ravens 17-20, are now on the outside looking in. So this weekend, Jets hold their own fate as they face the Bills. If Jets win, they're in. However, if the Jets lose and the Steelers beat the Browns, the Steelers are in. Staying with the AFC, even though the Bengals lost to the Broncos on Monday night, good thing for the Broncos was it gave Broncos the playoff spot, but the loss by the Steelers to the Ravens still gave the Bengals the AFC North title. And then one last team that are still they're fighting for that playoff position. Colts still looking to get in by winning the AFC South. They win the AFC South if they beat the Titans, and the Texans lose to the Jaguars. If not, the Texans stay in. So now we'll switch over to the NFC playoffs now. Shift back to Saturday night where the Redskins beat the Eagles 38-24, giving the Skins the NFC Championship, and at the same time also gave the franchise their 600th win. Going to the NFC North, Vikings get a huge win over the Giants minus Odell Beckham Jr. because of the suspension. Now the Vikings have a playoff spot. And then huge win in the NFC West. Cardinals dominated the Packers 38-8. The 8 points scored by the Packers were actually less points than the number of sacks that the Cardinals had against Green Bay quarterbacks. And with that win, the Cardinals get a first-round bye in the NFC along with the Panthers. So last week I mentioned that the Ravens wore their gold pants. This week they rocked the black jerseys with the white pants, which I liked a lot as well. That got me thinking about maybe we should have a uniform watch section in the show when it was appropriate. So just mention the Ravens. Something else I want to mention with the Redskins clinching the NFC East and their 600th win, I wanted to showcase an image from Helmet Concepts, who did a redesign of the Redskins helmet. I don't usually like this guy's work, but I did like his redesign of this one, and if you get to see the post-production of the show, you'll get to see what I'm talking about. And the same thing with the next image, too. If you had a chance to check out Cam Newton's shoes on Sunday's game, he had an all-pair of silver Under Armour shoes with the words Happy New Year on them. So we're going to go to a normal segment of the show and hand out candy this week. Not very much candy to hand out. one to Bills quarterback Tyroid Taylor. He ends up being he now holds the franchise's record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a season. So congratulations to Mr. Taylor. And then to my friend Brandon Marshall, he set an NFL record this weekend by having 6 100-catch seasons, and he's accomplished this with 3 different teams over his career. So now we're going to move into FSA news. The big news this week is we concluded our Fanatically Real Bowl 16. The Hookers won. General Manager Lucy James and the Hookers have won their 2nd straight bowl after only being in the league for 2 years. She defeated the Panthers with a final score of 93-78. Most impressive part of her 2 wins is the 2 championships. This season, she was against 75% different general managers inside her division than last year. She had a different roster makeup. We decided to change the way we were going to do rosters a little bit this year. We changed the way we were doing our starting lineups this year, and we had a different scoring system. She was able to get through all of those different changes, get the bowl, and on the way there, she grabbed the #1 spot in the power rankings at week 3 and never let go. And in week 5, she earned a perfect power ranking. And other than one other week later on in the season, she never let go of the perfect power ranking either. She started the season with 7 straight wins before she got her first loss. She finished the season at 11-2, and she averaged 119 points per week. So congratulations to Lucy again. The trophy is in the works. It is getting created for you right now. Once it's done, we will be shipping it to you in the mail. So that ends this week's portion of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about next week's show. Next week is going to be our online awards ceremony where we're going to give out awards for the season. The awards we've decided that we're going to give out this year is the Top Scoring Single Game of the Year, Smack Talker of the Year Award, the Surprise Team of the Year Award, the Rookie General Manager of the Year Award, and the General Manager of the Year Award. And then there'll be one more surprise category that will be named later on when we get ready to actually hand out the awards next week. Y'all have a good night, have a happy new year, and a safe new year.